Mario. Please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
Well, time to lose all of what little credibility I had. I thought Mario 64 was just okay. Many people consider Mario 64 to be the only game, and I called it just okay. Platformers are far from my favorite kinds of games, which makes my decision to review 6 of them kind of dumb. Mario is the platformer. It has no crazy gimmicks. It's just running, jumping, power-ups. The horse has been beaten to death, but it must be said, Mario 64 is quite possibly the most important game ever created. It popularized 3D games and showed everyone what games should strive to be. Considering the history alone and what Mario 64 did to the medium, this game deserves all the praise it receives. With that being said, I think the more modern sequels to this game completely outclass it. What's the Gimmick returns for another episode in which it is as unseen as ever, and by that I mean that Mario 64 does not have a gimmick. It's the very first game in the series, and because of that, the game is obviously very vanilla. In fact, most games on the Nintendo 64 were vanilla because they were the first time these games were made in 3D, so it makes sense that everything would be looked as normal compared to today's games. For example, Mario Kart 64 is the most Mario Kart game ever made. My opinion on the movement system hasn't really changed much from Odyssey to 64. 64 obviously isn't as fluid as the newer games. Getting into specifics, you don't have much sideways aerial drift in 64 as you do in, say, the newer games. Once you jump facing a direction, you will be facing that direction until you hit the ground again. This might not sound like a big deal, but it really limits your ability to get on a high ledge. In other games, you could triple jump and then wall jump and use the gimmick to get on the ledge, like Cappy, Flood, the spin move from Galaxy, or you can roll dive in Mario's 3D World. In Mario 64, you just have a triple jump and pray you can get enough height. Speaking of wall jumps, the wall kick in Mario 64 doesn't feel that great because the timing and conditions for it to be possible are much too precise. Now, all of these are nitpicks. The movement system really stands the test of time. Mario 64 has an exclusive move in the sweep kick, which you can use to get a quick boost of speed. I don't know why the later games got rid of this because it is really fun to use. Also, this is kind of weird, but it's just something about triple jumping into a dive that is so satisfying. It's specifically to Mario 64 because it doesn't get replicated in the other games. Now, with all that being said, I think the biggest problem for me is a lack of direction. I know people hearing this must be stunned by me saying that because the lack of linearity is what makes Mario 64 and other games in that vein so fun for others. I even praise Mario Odyssey for its expressiveness and how you can choose what moons you want to do in whatever order you want. When you hop into a painting, you're greeted with a star selection menu, which in itself is kind of moot because you only have one star available to you at a given moment. Anyway, so you pick the star, you launch into the level, and you have to find the star with no guidance besides the cryptic star name. In something like Mario Sunshine, you have a little preview movie of the direction you should be going in. For me personally, it becomes much easier to wander off the beaten path and find moons on my own because I'm always headed towards the main area that I know where the preview movie showed me. Some of these worlds are enormous with a bunch of sprawling paths, so to someone else, exploring these places might be great. For me, it is really overwhelming to do something so with little direction. Another example is Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild has very minimal hand-holding, but no matter what, you always have those dots on the map to follow, whether it be a side quest or a main quest. However, it always depends on what level I'm in. Bob on Battlefield is an example of a very good level. It's set outside and in a big open area where you can see where you need to go. And the music, oh, the music, I'll get to that. Womp's Fortress, another good example of a level that's outside and easy to tell where you need to go. The Bowser stages take a little different approach to level design because they're made with a much more linear but contain more difficult platforming. They are also very well designed. Cool Mountain is where things get a tiny bit shaky because you're dealing with so many vertical levels. It's impossible to see the entire level in one place, which makes it a little confusing to navigate, but still manageable and enjoyable. Also, the snow world aesthetic is pleasing, so it's still fun to run around. And then you have a world as disastrous as Hazy Maze Cave. I have no idea how anyone thought this was okay. There are walls everywhere along the roof, which makes it feel very claustrophobic. It also makes it very hard to know where I need to go, especially when they add an elevator and multiple levels into the mix. The color just consists of puke green and poo brown. It is just overall a pain to go through. But one of the good parts of Mario 64 is that you can pick what world you can go in, so you never have to do it, which is great. No one should do it. And it also says that it also doesn't help that the hints don't help at all. For example, in Cool Mountain, how does the phrase "wall kicks will help" aid me in finding where the star is? Now, when I started doing this Mario thing, I specified that I was doing all the games on Switch, so I think it is more than fair to judge the port job of Mario 64 in the 3D All-Stars collection. To put it blunt, the port is real bad. Why is the game in 4x3? It just looks weird compared to the widescreen Galaxy and Sunshine. Why didn't they up the resolution to 1080p in dock mode? I'm not much of a stickler for resolution, but why not take advantage of the hardware you're on? And lastly, for God's sake, why didn't they fix this camera? This controllable camera was obviously very revolutionary for the time, but the game released 25 years ago. They seriously couldn't fix it? Aren't there mods for emulators that make it a completely controllable camera? It really sucks the enjoyment out of platforming when I can't see what I'm doing. Going into the remastered game, I wasn't expecting a full ground-up remake with graphics like Odyssey. To me, a remaster implies that the resolution and frame rate would take advantage of the new hardware, and problems from the original, like the camera, will be rectified. I got none of those, and instead I received a lack of $90. I did get a little carried away with the negative points, but overall the game is very high quality. The stages that are well designed are well designed. I mentioned far from all of them, but other ones that I enjoyed were Lethal Lava Land and Tall Mountain. This game is 25 years old and still tops many AAA games that get released today. The movement in the game is so satisfying and made an emphasis on it a staple of the series. The game allows you to be so creative with how you solve problems, giving you multiple routes for different skill levels to get to a destination. The open area you spawn outside the castle allows new players to get used to the movement. You have trees to climb, water to swim in, and there's room to move around as you please. The music in this game is phenomenal. I see tons of people talk about Mario Galaxy's fully orchestrated soundtrack, but I don't think not enough people give nearly enough credit to Mario 64's soundtrack. You have the playful music of Bob on Battlefield pushing you forward, the calming, relaxing music of Jolly Roger Bay, the piano melody of Piranha Plant Lullaby, the loud organ during the final boss fight that pushes home Bowser's evil feeling, the best end credits theme of any video game or movie ever. So many memorable worlds as well that I will remember for the rest of my life. I feel a little bad not praising Mario 64 because I know how special the game is to other people and how important it is to the gaming industry. I talked a lot about the negative aspects of the game because everyone talks about the good aspects of a game. A lot of the good aspects are also applicable to Odyssey and all of the other games that I will eventually review. Not to mention that the lack of direction I found so frustrating is what other people like about the game. I think this game is someone everybody needs to play, whether I liked it or not. I might not be able to enjoy it as much as others, but the historical significance is completely worth it. However, I think Odyssey takes what Mario 64 made good and multiply it by 1,000. It's just much more fun experience than Mario 64. So that's the review. If you care, that was it. You can log off if you want to hear it, but I will talk for a little bit more, kind of like a little scripted, but only one take. So everybody's going to hear my beautiful stutters and pauses. My plan for the next video would be either 3D World, Bowser's Fury, or both, so that I can talk about the port as well. It's a lot more daunting to do 2 games at once, because it's going to take forever to write a script, edit in-game footage, etc., etc. But I think I might want to talk about a package deal with both of them. And it's already been like a month since I last posted something. But anyway, I have beaten both games already. But the thing is, I've 100%ed Bowser's Fury despite I began playing 3D World. So I have plans to 100% 3D World as well. But that's my long and drawn-out way of saying I have no idea what I'm doing next. After that one, whether it be one of them or both of them, I played Uncharted. I haven't reviewed a narratively driven game yet, so I am interested at the prospect of writing something like that. But I cannot get footage from PS3 without buying like a special capture card, which I don't really want to do. So, and it's already like almost broken, so I don't want to really put in any more money into it. So I will probably just talk into the microphone like this, one cut and the first run through. Everybody's gonna hear how I stutter. Anyway, so thanks to the one person who watches me.